I just want to touch on this and then move on because like the Nashville shooting. I'm scrolling around on Reddit because Elon Musk, and you know how we feel about Elon Musk.
Yeah, you've been like all over them Reddit pages lately.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm looking at these clips that are like, you know, showing up on Reddit, and I'm like, is there a shooting? Was there a shooting? And I turned the news on. There's a shooting. You know, my immediate response was, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about feeling that way, like for like probably an hour. I'm like, I really don't believe that we're going to do anything to fix this. And it's not a Second Amendment argument. It's more of a 9-year-old child times 3. They're getting murdered. It's not a transgender thing because I don't think that's relevant. And what baffles me is the fact that the first or the go-to is mental health. The go-to is, oh, she's trans. Yo, motherfucker, there's too many guns out there. You guys are still trying to address the symptoms as opposed to the root cause.
Yep.
And then on my way like home today, I was thinking, well, Al Sharpton went to he did a eulogy somewhere, and he does an interview, and part of the conversation was about federal laws. And I have a strong stance about like, yeah, your federal laws are kind of, that's a big fish. We can't even do shit at the local and state level. North Carolina just passed a law that removes the requirement for a permit to purchase a gun.
The day after the Nashville shooting. I mean, not that it really matters like when you did it, but the fact that that happens and you still are like, nah, we think this is a good idea. And to be clear, there was minimal, but still some bipartisan support on that, right? I think you had 3 Democratic...
It was 4 Democrats.
Yep. In the House of Representatives that helped to override Governor Cooper's veto. The first veto overridden in North Carolina since 2018.
Well, that's irrelevant. That's an NFL fact. You know, this is the first time any team has ever.
What I come with, Andre.
That's an irrelevant stat.
I got useless, irrelevant stats that I can throw out at a moment's notice to make me seem smarter than I actually am.
I'm not going to discount your intelligence, but
no,
I will say for anybody else, I think that's an irrelevant. Those are not the points of contention. Is basically what I'm saying. I don't fucking care, and I'm just disappointed that, and I'm fucking tired of your thoughts and prayers. And I know that's how we do it. I know that's how we do it in the South, and I know there's a clip of that, but.
Insert clip here.
As well as sending our heartfelt prayers to the families, to this community of these victims. Now, I know there'll be people who want to criticize us for prayers, but that's the way we do that in the South, right? We believe in prayer, and we believe in the power of prayer. And so our prayers go out to these families.
And yeah, God is probably like, yo, you guys are dumb. You guys are dumb. Like, you're doing some dumb fuckboy shit. And I'm paraphrasing for him, but I'm just saying, as a person of faith, and I'm not like a poster boy, but I'm also not a hypocrite. What this country does and how we respond to tragedies is fuckboy shit. That's all I got.
Yep. I mean, did you see the clip of is it Tennessee GOP Congressman Tim Burchett, who literally said, "We're not going to fix it. We're not going to fix school shootings."
Yeah, insert clip here.
Horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals, and my daddy fought in the Second World War, fought in the Pacific, fought the Japanese, and he told me, he said, buddy, he said, if somebody wants to take you out and doesn't mind losing their life, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about it.
Hey, so this is a real fuck that person statement from Andre Powell. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I think it's going to take, seriously, in 2 instances with criminal justice reform and our biggest epidemic is shootings. It's going to take, just like it takes with opioids, right? You know where I'm going, right?
I mean, go ahead.
Hey, so opioids, we don't care about the drug problem in the States until it's affecting kids in the suburbs.
Right.
It's going to take a GOP's child or grandchild or family member getting shot and gunned down for them to make a decision, I would assume, if the NRA hasn't laced their pockets with enough cash. And I'm not wishing it upon them. I'm just saying, like,
right.
Sometimes you don't believe shit stinks until it's in your lap. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a little different only because this is already affecting white kids in the suburbs, right? Like,
it doesn't matter because the NRA is not paying those.
Right. Why do people keep voting for these guys then? Is what I don't understand, right?
Because
like,
they get them ginned up and scared.
Because they'd rather stop abortions than protect their own children in school, right? They'd rather, I don't know. What other stupid shit does the GOP want?
I don't.
They're more concerned with drag queen shows in public than they are with shootings at schools, right? Like, I don't understand how these stupid culture war arguments are the things that ultimately convince people, well, the GOP has our best interest at heart, when you just see time and time again that the number one cause of death in America for children is gun violence. I mean, there was a kid here in Wilmington at the Veterans Park, which is like 10 minutes up the road from me, who got into his parents' car, found the handgun loaded, and discharged it in the car. Didn't hurt anybody, but found a loaded weapon in the car, discharged it, and both of his parents got arrested for it. But they want to make it easier to buy handguns.
You know, Trump in what is this? Let me get rid of this stupid pop-up. We can put this quote up here. We won with the young. We won with the old. We won with the highly educated. We won with the poorly educated. He ends the quote with saying, I love the poorly educated. That's what he said in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And put that link in there so we can make sure.
And I'm sure in his mind, right, he's like, oh no, I support these people, right? It's not that I like the fact that they're poorly educated, but obviously there's a good swath of the GOP that loves the fact that these people are poorly educated. I mean, shit, where is it? Missouri?
Yeah.
Just voted to defund libraries?
Yeah.
Because the librarians sued them over the book ban? Oh, you like that? We're going to ban libraries.
Well, the question I would ask is the First Amendment less than the Second Amendment? All right.
Why didn't they put the Second Amendment first if it was more important than the First Amendment?
Because motherfuckers can't count. Like, I don't know.
So who's really poorly educated here?
Two's bigger than one. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't fucking care.
I know.
I just, nothing's going to change. Basically, we're going to continue to kill non-whites unjustly. We're going to continue to let our children have to be threatened and or killed in schools. Our country doesn't have the stomach to do the hard things or the right things. Yeah. And it's so much more expedient to give excuses as to why things are the way they are. And
also,
we're getting like I'm probably desensitized to some of these issues now.
How could we not be at this point? I mean, that's right. Every single time this happens and people start calling for like logical, sensical gun reform, right? The pushback is now is not the time for political arguments and debate, right? We need to focus on these families that have been affected. Okay, a mass shooting occurs almost every single fucking day in this country. So when the fuck is it going to be time?
Well, we have to pivot to mental health because, we all understand that mental health is the
Right.
banner, the banner.
But we're
for,
not actually going to do anything about it, right? We're going to blame mental health, but we're not going to make those resources any easier for people to get access to.
Why would you do that, Chris?
We're not going to require that insurance companies cover people's mental health.
Why would you do that?
Care.
We can't afford that.
Well, obviously we can't. We got to spend billions of dollars on, everything else.
So I don't have an answer, and I hope
we have to bail out a fucking bank because they got a bunch of tech bros with their money in it.
Ooh, well, let's go there. Shit, fuck. Before we go there, my heart genuinely goes out to those families.
Yes.
And I am a person with 5 children, and I actually I'm super hyped because one of our kids came home today, so my wife tried to surprise me.
But Andre is unsurprisable.
I am unsurprised. So she literally called me. She's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the store and do this and this." I'm like, okay.
Who's home?
You think you're gonna try to play me? And so, I was not surprised. And she was mad that I wasn't surprised. I'm like, because you're off. Like, you can't do off things and think like.
She just never should have called.
She should have just shown up, and I would be like, "Oh my god, I'm surprised." But like, no, because whatever. I have 5 children, and I love my kids with all my heart, like all my heart. I'm obsessed with my children, and I want the best for them. I will do whatever I can for them whenever I can, and even when I can't. And I can't imagine what those families are going through. But I'm realistic enough to know that I'm never going to subjugate myself to bullshit if something happened to my kids. I'm just not going to. If you fuck with my family, I'm coming at you. I don't care what it costs me. I promise you, I'm coming at you. I think as a country, like, we can take. We should just, I don't know, we shouldn't be satisfied with what these people that they're elected officials. They are elected officials. They're not a class of our society. They are elected officials. Fuck them all. Fuck Republicans. Fuck Democrats. You're a bunch of fucking pussies and you don't care. And it should bring the aftertaste of vinegar in your mouth when you say we care about the American people. Whenever they use the phrase American people, they should be cursed with the aftertaste of a shot of vinegar because they don't care. So that's how I feel about it. Fuck them both. Fuck Bernie Sanders. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck McCarthy. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. Fuck them all. They don't care. Your local officials, I don't know who they are, but fuck them too. They get a double serving of fuck them too because they're closer to you and your family. And if they don't care enough to protect your family, they're pieces of shit. Fuck the mayor of Nashville. Seriously. Look, God gives us a certain level of wisdom because it's not like he's and this may turn off people that don't believe in God, but now I understand. Well, I have always understood why people don't believe in God. God's not like putting divine barriers in front of like hazards and harm. He gives us free will to make better choices, and we're pawning that off to some divine intervention. That's not the way it works. So the mayor of Nashville, fuck you too. Fuck the mayor of Sandy Hook. Fuck all these people that don't care enough to prevent it from happening again. So that's how I feel about it. I just threw a lot of good thing we're not trying to get monetized, but they're elected officials and people that try to put their faith in front of the problem without actually doing anything. You're the antithesis of the faith. Like, the issue has always been free will. We have free will. What do we do with that free will?
I mean, it's the whole idea that it's not that thoughts and prayers are is in
They're not important. They are important.
right, but actions speak a hell of a lot louder than words.
King Solomon prayed for wisdom, not for God to do things for him that he could do himself. He prayed for wisdom to make better decisions. And if your pastors are in their pulpit not saying that, literally, seriously, that's what I get very agitated. That's why I have a hard time walking into a church, because you take biblical principles and you fit them to a narrative that don't fit the reality of the life in which we live. It annoys me. It makes complete 100% sense to me when people criticize Christians, especially American Christians. King Solomon asked and prayed for wisdom to make better decisions. Decisions are something that you start and finish. Good and bad, car possess, car repossess. I mean, so can we stop being so fake with stuff? It bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I sorry that I had to chuckle there.
I'm not trying to take a shot at you, but you.
No, I know you're not. That was funny. Like, I love it. I fucking brought that shit up on this show, so you're welcome to bring it back up. And you're right. Like, ultimately, whether or not I have my car, right? Like, I should still want the same things, right? I should still want to be able to make good decisions financially, for my family, for myself,
Right.
for other people. I should still be able to take responsibility, right, for my shortcomings and figure out what I can do to try and make them better, so that I can be a better person. I can be a better husband. I can be a better father. I can be a better son. I can be a better neighbor.
Right. The Bible does say faith without works is dead, right? And there's debate in the American Christian church of what that means. But it's true.
Of course there is. Jesus.
I mean, but think about it. If you look at the analogies of like farming and agriculture in the Bible, there's reasons why, example, the faith of a mustard seed. And it wasn't just that. It's just that when you plant something, you reap what you sow, right? Well,
yep.
You don't just put something in the ground without tending the ground around it. You have to do the work. And if these fucking idiot so-called pseudo-Christian, like, we want the Bible, you don't want God in schools. If you put God in schools, 98% of the stuff you say goes to waste.
Right. I mean, I said it before on this show. It was a while ago, so I'll say it again. A big part of the reason that I fell out with the Catholic Church and just kind of church in general was because I felt like you guys taught me too well, right? You taught me all these things, and I look around and I don't see any of those things being put into action here within the church, right? I see the collection plate going around twice, because once is for the charitable donations, and the second is so we can buy some fancy gold shit for the fucking pews, right? Like,
one thing is not like the other, right?
Yeah,
this same
exactly.
Jesus had turned over the tables of the money collectors.
Would not be happy just because you guys decided to spend $1 billion building a fucking mega church. Right? These guys that want to fucking God told me I need a private jet so I can fly around the world and preach the word. Like, pretty sure he didn't.
Did he? Did he though?
Pretty fucking sure he didn't. Pretty sure you're full of shit and you just don't like riding economy. Like,
those are things where, like, and I'm actually, I'm genuinely tired of talking about, like, people dying because we fail to act. Inaction is not a strategy.
I mean, look at the homeless situation in this country, right?
Sure.
Those people get overlooked on a regular basis because they're seen as less than, because they're, oh, that must be their fault, right? They got into drugs, or God forbid that they have mental health issues that prevent them from holding a regular job.
Chris, but for fuck's sake, mental health is a problem, because now the same people with mental health issues are killing people. Come on.
Right. But we're still not going to do anything about it. It's a problem, but we don't have the money to fix it, right?
Do you though? I mean, we don't, because we're kicking a lot of money. And I'm not like anti-Ukraine. I'm just saying, come on.
Yeah, I'm not either.
You
right?
know, an example. If we have a clip of the protests of in Israel. If we have a clip of the protests in France. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but I am saying the populace is saying, you guys are in some bullshit.
So honestly, right? Like, where are the American protests for this shit?
We don't do it at that level. We get mad at a Karen, right? We get mad. We'd
rather record it and put it on YouTube or on social media, on TikTok.
We had January 6th.
Okay.
And then crickets, right? We have a part of our...
We still haven't held most of the people that actually orchestrated that shit responsible, right?
I'm just saying. We
I know. I mean, I hear you. I'm agreeing with you. The crickets.
Crickets. I mean...
Chirp, chirp.
Chirp, chirp. I mean, because, that Donald Trump represents 74 million Americans. There's a fox.
If you put him in jail, you're putting 74 million votes in jail.
You saw the
of
same.
Course they did.
Yeah, they better not put my president in prison. He represents 74 million Americans. And if he's the nominee, you're putting 74 million votes in prison. And that's how I see it.
Really?
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him with a hot
What does a
iron
vote
rod.
in jail look like? Is what I want to know. Is it just a ballot behind bars? Like, is it a Dominion voting machine? Like, is that what Mike Pillow ultimately wants?
Jesus
He wants
Christ.
a Dominion voting machine in jail?
Yeah, that's I don't have anything for that. Fuck that guy.
How about, right, we were talking about you don't really want God in schools or the Bible in schools and stuff like that, right? How about in Utah, where somebody decided to use their own fucking law against them
With the
and says,
pornography.
oh, you want to ban all these fucking books? Guess what's one of the worst offenders of the shit that you're complaining about? It's the fucking Bible.
Yo, and so if you ever study the book of Genesis, there is incest, there is pornography, and
Yeah.
like
There's rape, right? There's murder.
It's the book of Genesis is kind of like hard to study and read, right? At the same time, so is the book of Job, right? It talks of prostitution. Job was led to marry a prostitute, and hence the book of it was the book of Job. Hosea. The book of Job, it talks about difficult things in which we struggle with our faith and the hypocrisy of our friends and the hypocrisy of people and their piety. Just those 3 books alone, like you'd be like, this God guy is pretty outrageous. Who would tell somebody to marry a prostitute? Hosea, go and marry a prostitute. Like, you got this, dog. Like, no, but there's more to it than just the surface. The rape in Sodom and Gomorrah has nothing to do with there are debatable points in both areas, and it's not for me to decide which one is right. Sodomy, it is what it is, right? But it's complicated. But you can't take it out of context. There was more than just that particular part. So why do Christians have a hard-on for sodomy? I don't know. Ask the lieutenant governor of, Tennessee, because he obviously thinks dude is fired.
Tennessee Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally finds himself facing accusations of hypocrisy after a progressive site unearthed his social media interactions with a 20-year-old gay model.
You don't want to put God in schools, because that same God would be a he would be a marker of your hypocrisy. Like, it's just, stop saying that. Just stop. You don't, maybe it's a good thing not to have prayer in school, because if everybody was literally genuinely wise to the things they were thinking, doing, feeling, going to act upon, most people would be out of favor. It would challenge like what you commit to and say yes to. Seriously. And you can't have
I
that.
mean, and in a lot of ways, doesn't this kind of come back to what we talked about a couple episodes ago, where it's this like selective outrage?
Yeah.
Right? It's selective sins. Which sins are really worth us making a big deal about, and which ones are we willing to just kind of overlook, right? So, like, and it's somewhat it's not a non sequitur, but so there was best of Redditor updates, right? Is one of the subreddits that I love to follow, because it's like you get this whole story all in one, where you get the original post and then any subsequent updates. And there was this guy who basically said that his brother's fiance uninvited him from their wedding because he's gay. That up to that point, she had been perfectly fine and like cordial, and he felt like he had a really good relationship with her. And then all of a sudden, his brother calls him one day and is like, "So you can't come to the wedding?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "Well, it's because she's not comfortable with your homosexuality, and neither is her family, and she feels like because it's her big day, you know, like she shouldn't have anybody at the wedding that she's uncomfortable with." And from her words were like, she shouldn't have a sinner at the wedding.
Okay.
So basically, nobody should be there.
Because
right?
this same Bible that we profess says we have all sinned and come short of the glory of God.
Right. That's kind of the whole point of human existence in a lot of ways, right? Like, nobody lives a perfect life. The idea is that you commit errors and you hopefully learn from them so you don't commit them again in that way. Now, when it comes to homosexuality, I'm not saying, just to be clear, that homosexuality is an error and that you shouldn't continue to be homosexual. But
so at some level, the word sin, and I was trying to Google this. Maybe you can find it because your Google skills might be like stronger than mine. The words. So it was an archery term, right? And to sin was to miss the mark or miss the bullseye or whatever the score may have been. Mm-hmm. That word has been weaponized to a point where it's you can't have any transgression against religious law. The issue...
Look what I got for you right here. Hold on. It's a Greek word spelled in Greek this way, which I can't pronounce. It's also an archery term for when someone didn't hit the target, or put more simply, missing the mark.
Gee, I'm pretty good, right? That's without.
Well, so am I. I mean, that was pretty.
But you can't give me any credit for not having to Google that, but knowing that I've read that before and like.
No, because I found it, so I win.
So I sinned.
Yeah, you missed the mark, and I didn't know.
Damn it.
Just to be clear, we don't rehearse this at all. Like, we didn't even have anything to talk about, like, planned on this episode.
But
we're just that good, people. This is why you should listen to the Chris and Andre show.
So we weaponize that word to where it's now considered part of our vernacular as a transgression against religious law, of a religious law. The issue that, like, people of the Christian faith should have is that this Jesus came by and said, yeah, I didn't really come to abolish the law, but I came to complete it, right? We cannot accept the fact that we are broken, fallen individuals, and the framework that Jesus put in front of us was not to be pious. That's hard to accept. Like, I can't do anything to make this better. No, there's nothing you can do. I can't impress you enough to, and not actually take every phrase I say and think about how you act and work, right? And this is where it translates. I can't do anything to make this better. No, Sammy. You didn't turn that report in time, but I've got you. But I want to be good in your eyes. No, it's okay. I got you. Like, there's nothing I can do to be considered for the next position. No, it's we're not looking for we're not promoting anybody right now. I think what we're doing right now is, everybody's doing their job and we're all good, but I want to stand out. What do you mean?
And turn your fucking report in on time, Sammy. Jesus.
But I've moved. I mean, you see my point? So we equate this level of perceived perfection based on human standards, and we cannot accept it. It's one-upmanship every day, all the time, 24/7.
Oh, hi. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Hi.
Oh my God. Yeezy Red Octobers, Fragment 1, Off-White Nike. White Yeezys that are actually dirty because I actually wear them. Yeezys, more Yeezys, more Yeezys, more Yeezys.
Like you clips here, like insert clips here. People want
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. I mean, Twitter.
Get it while you can, people.
You know what? Let's talk about that, because I don't want to go into a philosophical thing because I hate philosophy.
No, that's cool. I was like, hey, let me throw a little fork in the road here and see if Andre wants to take the road less traveled.
Jeez.
Or maybe it's more traveled. I don't know at this point.
TikTok, it's a shitty company. Social media in general is shitty.
Or shitty companies. If you think TikTok's the only one out there fucking like taking your information, first off, fuck you.
Let me say this. I'm not a fan of TikTok. I do believe that we in the States we let our guard down with history, right? World War II, we get East Germany, the Russians get West Germany, or I'm sorry, flip that. East and West. And we tried to turn these countries into the States. Unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
You go to China, same thing. Like, you've got McDonald's, you got KFC. They're all flooding these places. Kuwait, same thing. There was a KFC. I remember when I was younger, seeing a KFC opening in Kuwait. Like, what the fuck?
How do you fry Kentucky chicken in Kuwait? Or is it Kuwait fried chicken?
Well, it's still, I don't know. My point being, we go and try to maximize a market because it's of its growth potential.
Because capitalism demands that we do
exactly. And it has, in my lifetime, has done nothing but bite us in the ass each and every time.
Yeah.
TikTok is nothing different. There's a bunch of headlines. The top 4 apps on the Apple Store are all Chinese. I mean, the government does. There's a senator saying, or I think it was a representative. I don't know. I don't care. So what you're telling me is that TikTok accesses my Wi-Fi network.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the.
So if I have TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
Yeah, dumbass.
Because your phone is connected to the Wi-Fi network, you dumb fuck.
Sit down, you're not qualified.
Seriously. The majority of the people on that panel asking questions were so ridiculously unqualified to be asking those questions.
Or even on that panel, if I'm being honest.
Or even on that panel. You're absolutely right. And you know what solves a lot of these problems? A very basic data privacy law.
Yep.
That not only affects TikTok, but all of the companies that are out there collecting our information and monetizing it either by themselves or by selling it to third parties. Do I understand the concern, the so-called, hand-wringing over the Chinese government being able to come in and influence TikTok or to take the data from TikTok
Dan
because
Crenshaw
of legislation.
This insulting
of course he
motherfucker.
So, Mr. Chu, if the CCP tells ByteDance to turn over all data that TikTok has collected inside the U.S., even within Project Texas, do they have to do so, according to Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, but there are employees of yours and ByteDance is in China.
No, we put it out of reach by storing them.
ByteDance owns TikTok. If ByteDance is and the CCP owns ByteDance because the CCP owns everybody in China.
He's berating, and I'm not trying to take up for the CEO of TikTok.
No,
he's berating this guy, and the CEO goes, "I'm Singaporean." He goes, "That's not important." Like, what the fuck, yo? Fuck you, Dan Crenshaw.
Y'all look the same to me.
You
might as well have just fucking said that shit.
Oh God, I almost made an eye joke, but but I didn't.
Thanks for not making me cut that out.
Oh man, but it came to me, so you all look the same to me. Well, anyway, I'm going to stop. But he's not qualified.
No,
he gets a pass on saying that racist bullshit. I'm kind of feel bad about saying this because he's got an eye patch. Like, so Dan Crenshaw, fuck you too.
You may be surprised to hear he's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie. I'm sorry, I know he lost his eye in war or whatever.
I mean, at this point, I'm sorry. The statute of limitations is passed on that. You got a fucking eye patch, dude. Get over it. Like, I don't even care. Like, it's not about the eye patch. It's just like, you're a fucking shitty congressman.
He's a piece of shit.
Like all of them, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it earlier, right? Fuck them all.
Yeah.
Fuck the GOP just a little bit more, but yeah, fuck them all.
Yeah, I think they're incompetent. They're the levels of incompetencies in our government. It's
designed incompetence, though.
No,
right?
it's not. It's if you.
I think there's an element of it that it's like if we just act like we don't know what the fuck we're doing, then there's no reason that anybody expects us to actually do anything.
The guy that I keep sending clips of, like little recaps he does in his sessions, either he's too new or too naive to.
Oh, Jeff Jackson.
Yeah.
Love Jeff Jackson.
So here's what happens when a member of Congress gets arrested. Normally, if one of your coworkers gets arrested for a bunch of felonies related to their job, they don't get to just come back to the office the next day. But he did, and it was really weird and a bit of a circus. I can walk around the Capitol and reporters don't chase me down. Not the case for him. It's pretty much a walking press conference for that guy. He hasn't been convicted of anything yet, but the evidence against him is really strong. I used to be a prosecutor. I read the indictment, and they got him.
I mean, not everybody's incompetent, but.
No, you're right. But it seems like the more time you spend in Congress, the less competent you become.
Sure. And Dan Crenshaw, I just want to say again, fuck you, man. And this is not like a fuck you. I'm trying to start beef with you. It's kind of like, yo, is this what we're doing? That's the type of fuck.
I mean, this is what we're distracting people with.
Yeah.
Right. Or not even necessarily like, and this is not a conspiracy theory though. Oh, there's something bigger going on, but it's like, this is what we have decided to spend our time doing, is focusing on shit like whether or not TikTok should be banned in the United States.
I personally think it should be, but it should have been a long time ago. I don't trust I really, as a person that writes software who has seen India, same thing. Fuck it. Fuck India. Fuck Bangladesh. Fuck some of the Central South American countries with like troves of fucking developers that can clone and spin out your same product without any recourse. I do think there is something to be said about stealing intellectual property. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah. At this point, right? Localized, and by localized I mean national intellectual privacy or intellectual property laws are a moot point, because it's not a matter of people within the same country stealing that stuff and reproducing it. You need some level global intellectual property laws.
Yes, so that's my hard on with like China, right? We as a country in Europe too. So EU, get your shit together. We have got in bed for globalization in the wrong aspects for the wrong things for some areas. And if you're thinking that China or Russia or fucking even like Ukraine, if I'm being honest, Hungary, Bolivia, Venezuela, Argentina, and I can go down a list, have your best interests at heart, you're fucking naive and stupid. You deserve everything that comes like after the fact.
Have you seen the pictures of Venezuela where they have like just their cash money laying all over the gutters?
Oh yeah,
because it's literally worthless at this point.
But you can get a lot of ice. Exporting jobs, especially ones that are in high demand, and it kind of like leads me into like how I feel about ChatGPT and everybody getting a stiffy for it. It's going to be worse than Bitcoin. Like, here, mark my words, 3 to 5 years, ChatGPT is going to be like the oopsie moment that Bitcoin was. And what people are failing to talk about is the fact that the models they use are always going to be a year or two behind. They're going to adapt the machine learning. And I'm not an expert in the field. I'm speaking at a cursory level of what I understand. I'm a developer, so let me put that out there.
You might not be an expert, but you're not a novice either.
I'm not an expert in those particular technologies, right? So that's my disclaimer.
What are you an expert in?
Did I mention I have 5 kids? so let me correct. I didn't make them all. My issue is that we gotta slow down just a little bit before we just like go like, full speed into the latest trend or fad, because we always get caught up. We got caught up in 08 and 09 with like we got caught up in the tech bubble of the last part of 99 and into 2002.
The dot-com bubble.
The dot-com bubble. Yeah.
Then the housing crisis. Now we have the crypto crisis to some degree, right? Also followed by, wow, these tech companies hired way more people than they should have. So now they got to lay a bunch of fucking people off.
And a lot of that, from what I understand, is cock blocking to make sure that you don't get talent at your competitor.
Right.
That was a fucked up realization. But at the same time, what goes into production is pretty much done in exporting those same jobs. So I'll send
E-Area used to do that, right?
Our E-Area,
for the longest time, the bulk of E-Area's developers were not living in the United States. Right. And they'd fly them in maybe once a year, if that, so that they could work them to death and then send them home. And then expect them to somehow be on the same time frame that we are.
Right. So I think ChatGPT we're setting ourselves up for the next like bubble.
I mean, shit. South Park has a ChatGPT episode.
There's tons of ChatGPT apps for your phone. So then I can take whatever latest dumb thing Bebe texted me, I copy it, then I open the GPT app, click respond to, paste her text here, hit write, it just thinks for a second. You would look great with any length of hair, trying a new look could be fun. Cut, paste, write, cut, messages, paste, send, there. All done with her stupid. This is a real app. It'll completely change your life, bro.
I'm not that far in South Park yet, but I've been watching it, and it's painful.
I only know because I saw it on YouTube. There was a short where they were talking about ChatGPT and using it to respond to the girlfriend's text messages because it was too much fucking work for them to take the time to actually have a relationship.
Insert clip here. All I'm saying is, like, there are sometimes, like, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
My dad, my stepdad, I love my pops. He told me that. He's like, hey, just because you can doesn't mean you should all the time. And that is a tough, pill to swallow.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode. In case you ignored my previous instructions, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to tickle that little like button. And if you have something to say, you can drop it in the comment down below. We'll see you on the next one.